Before I start, I need to say something really important. Okay, sorry. Uh, I need to be serious. This is probably why people don't take me seriously. Okay, yeah. Sorry, you're probably wondering why did I do that? Even I'm wondering, why did I do that? It's just an impulsive decision that I took at the moment. And that is why I was genuinely confused when KCMT approached me and they were like, we would like for you to give a TEDx talk. I was like, me? You want me to give a TEDx talk? I'm an impulsive yapper. They're like, yeah, that's what makes you perfect for the Misfits theme. And I was like, wait, I'm not a misfit. I think I'm just a piece of a puzzle that was in the wrong puzzle. See, I'll tell you why. Back in school, yeah, I thought my impulsivity was my biggest flaw for the longest time. Back in UKG, the teacher was like, A for apple, B for ball, C for come back here. And why did she say that? That was because I just chose to walk out of class in the middle of the class. Why? To go see the butterflies outside. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore, and I left. Social anxiety, never heard of her. Yeah, and that is when my mom's endless calls from school started to begin. They would call her almost every day. They'd say, hey, your kid zoned out again. Hey, your kid walked out of class again. Hey, your kid is talking too much. She's not even eating lunch. Hey, your kid took a washroom break for too long. Sorry, mom, but in my defense, washroom break was the politest way for me to skip class. Anyways, with that in mind, no matter what I did, I carried these traits with me, no matter how much I tried to fix it. So I thought I had a problem. I was like, okay, why everybody keeps pointing these things out? And then I grew up to find out my impulsivity meant that it was also a sign of low attention span. Yes, new flaw added to the list, more things to worry about. So I was like, okay, I gotta fix myself. So I got this genius idea of copying others. I was like, wait, maybe if I do what others do, I'll be happy. Maybe if I achieved success through what somebody else did, I'll be really happy. But no, everything just got more destructive. I hated myself more and I started beating myself up. I went from thinking, why am I built like this to why can't I do this? I was really aggressive with myself. It's really sad actually. Yeah, and then I realized, wait, I'm not the problem. I was actually just a piece of a puzzle in the wrong puzzle set, like I said. So that got me to realize when I was hyperactive or talking too much, it may have been a distraction in class. But here I am able to do public speaking very, freely. And when I was zoning out, it's just because I was thinking creatively of something that I was interested in. Or when I was, impulsive, I just can do things like really quickly or do 5 things at once. So while my teachers were wondering, how is she ever going to succeed if she keeps staring out the window? While I was staring out the window, I learned how to observe things. I learned how to see the world differently. I learned, when the crow would come and sit, I'll think, oh, what is that crow doing? What does that crow think? I'll be thinking of something and I'll create a story in my head. And that is what helped me in photography today. And not just photography, I got into videography, which got me into editing. So I am able to put 2 and 2 together and create stories out of anything. And that's kind of what I apply in content creation. Right? So, let's take my mirror selfie videos where I go, "Hey, Malayalam is so simple, you say, ah, ah, ah." It's just an impulsive thought that I had. So all my videos are just impulsive thoughts I have, and I'll be like, you know what, I should record it. And I'll record it, and it'll actually do well. And I'm just being myself there. So even if you take my edits, it's just an impulsive idea that I have. I'll just go, I'll be like, yo, I have to do it. So I'll get an idea, I'll do it immediately. And if I can't do it, I'll write it down, I'll do it immediately. I can do it really quick. So this brings me to talk about my content journey and how that started. So honestly, I feel like, I started lip syncing since I was in my mom's belly. Exaggeration. But why I say is, when Dub Smash launched, I was the first person to download it. And why I wanted to do that is because I wanted to lip sync funny movie dialogues. And moreover, I wanted to lip sync the scene Contra song. I even by-hearted the song. And then I got this chance to, rap that song in front of the Premam cast. I was like, yes, I'm doing this. And I went and performed. They were supportive. I came back home and the video was uploaded on YouTube and I watched it and I was like, cringe. So the embarrassing part was not that I was performing in front of them. It was the fact that my younger self thought it was cringe. And why I say is, okay, word. What I mean to say is that it's just a subjective word. And I feel like we get more offended of being called cringe than being factually proven wrong or something. Because cringe is just a subjective opinion of someone. And why should we let a subjective opinion of a person define us, even being my own? So, if I let my own subjective opinion of me define me, I wouldn't go from doing a dub smash of scene contra to performing that to now giving a TEDx talk here and hitting 440K on Instagram. That is crazy. And even let it be my cringe transitions. I'm now getting appreciated, and when I go in public places, people like recognize me, and some are really funny. I'll be about to go to the washroom to take a piss, I'll be going, and then they'll be, hey, I like your dreads. I'll be like, thank you, thanks a lot, man. Yes, the interaction was quite awkward, but I at least took a piss very happily. That had to be one of my happiest piss, man. This impulsivity, I said, right? Impulsivity is like my biggest superpower. It also came up with this annoying thing called perfectionism. I think a lot of you would have faced perfectionism. I'll tell you, perfectionism is literally a trap, especially if you're passionate about something. Because when you're passionate, you're like, okay, I have to do it perfectly. But think about it. The vision that you have in your head, right? Do you think it'll look exactly like how it is in your head? No, not really. Like maybe if you take up a painting or a drawing, it might look somewhat close, but there'll be some stroke differences, something like that will be there. So my point is, when I started editing videos, I'll plan it, I'll be like this music, this vision, everything. I'll go out and I'll shoot it. I'll look at my videos and be like, what atrocity is this? Then I'm like, okay, I put a lot of effort, I'll make an edit out of this, and I'll made it. I made the edit and I'm like, this is not good. And like that, 10 other edits I didn't post only. And what happened is I was not studying, I was not writing notes, I was not doing anything because I put a lot of effort into this and I put a lot of time into this. So I was like, okay, might as well, I'll just post it. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? And I got really good appreciation for it. So what I'm saying is that, you know, people don't really see you for the unattainable, perfect idea that you have in your head. People see you for the creativity and the effort that you put out there. Moreover, the fact that you did it. So I'm telling you, if you have an idea, be it small, basic, or any idea, just do it with whatever you have and then just execute it. I started filming videos on my iPad and to any phone that I found. And then I learned to do it on cameras. And now I have multiple technical knowledge and all these things, and I can do with whatever I have around me. This brings me to say something that I firmly believe in, which is doing things for yourself. I had a phase where I copied the topper in school so that I'll achieve her success. I faced the same thing in content creation too, because I was a dub smash creator, and then TikTok blew up, and all the dance creators were blowing up. So I used to do all those dance videos, and I used to not be satisfied. I'll spend a lot of time, I'll spend a lot of hours, trying to dance like that, but I'll still not be satisfied. So then, I left it. I stopped creating itself for a while. I was like, what am I doing? And, I just thought I'll club it with something I like doing and, club it with editing. So I'll just start, recording whenever, I dress up, my fashion and stuff. And I edited that, and like that started getting good, views, and then I incorporated transitions to do it. And then now I'm like, saying whatever I feel, and now I'm getting appreciated basically for just being myself and what I love doing. And it's not just me it's not just me liking what I do. It's also other people liking what I do, and that felt like a cheat code. I was like, what? There is no way this is happening. I realized that, I was like, okay, I just have to be myself, and everything is working out well. So why did I waste a lot of time copying others or, trying to be something else or listening to others? You know what? If you've ever felt that too, I would just say never regret feeling that, because sometimes you have to go through that phase to really understand your real greatest potential. And you may, if you already realize your potential, well and good, but you may realize it even better. What I'm saying that, if you really trust yourself, everything is like just a lot better. So even if you have an idea and you're like, oh, I might mess it up, I need to consult someone. Sometimes when you ask somebody, they'll say, I did this, be careful, and you might mess it up more. That's what happened to me. So I'm saying, you are going to mess up. You will mess up or you may not mess up, but even if you do mess up, it's you who made that choice. So you will definitely know how to fix it and you will know how to get back up. I can promise you that. So finally, what I'm coming to say is that all these traits which was seen as flaws, I just flipped the script and turned it into superpowers. So it helped me with my photography, my video editing, the direction, and like transitions and the talking unnecessarily, not unnecessarily, but these things have helped me, and it was seen as a big flaw for so long. And this is because my brain is hyperactive, and that helps me, and I can juggle with 5 things at once. So just like that, each one of us has our own unique talent. And I would say, if you ever thought, oh, why am I built like this? Just flip that script and think about it really. That flaw probably exists within you for a reason, because you really need to flip the script to understand. Finally, I'm just saying that the things that make you you, your instincts and your doubts or your flaws, always wins. Your authenticity will always win no matter what. So don't try to mold yourself into something else or someone else for society. You don't have to fit in. If you just realize your own potential, that's more than enough. Because then no matter, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm just a wrong puzzle in the puzzle box. If you just realize your potential wherever you are, you're not a misfit anywhere. Oh, and finally, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Riya Shibu, and I think the past few minutes of my yapping pretty much sums up for who I am. And you can type in my name on Instagram, and if you want, you can follow for research purposes. But I would like to end this on a note by thanking KCMT for having me as the TEDx speaker, especially for this theme, Misfits. Maybe I am perfect for this theme because even my introduction seems to be misfit into the conclusion. See what I did there? Anyways, thank you.